Okay, in this video I'm going to be going over the back wheel. I did a short video the other day on the rubber cushions. I'm still waiting on those to come in since the tires got done today. I'm going to go ahead and clean up everything, get everything ready to go back together so when the cushions get here I can reassemble it. Just a few quick things what I want to do to help clean it up and make it work better. As you can see, the drum is pretty well glazed over. It's got some rub marks on it. I'm just going to take some emery cloth, clean up the rough marks on the inside. We'll clean all the grease that I can out of it so the brake hits good. I've already inspected my gear. My gear looks like it's in good shape. I've cleaned it all up. I don't have any really rolled over edges or anything on it. It's not perfect, but it's not bad enough to replace. My inside splines look like they're pretty good. I don't see any damage to it at all, so I'll be reusing that. I did notice that whoever had it before me did not fold over the keepers for the nuts, so I'm going to put those, fold them up where they're supposed to be. The brakes on this were actually in really good shape. They were glazed over. I just took some emery cloth and actually hit them and got them back to where they were nice and clean again. There were some glazed over spots on them. Someone's obviously been riding it pretty hard. And I've got one spot, I think. Nope, I got that out too. That had a little spot. I'm going to hit a little bit more at the top. I don't know if you can see it on the camera or not, but there's still a little shiny spot there. But I'm going to hit that again just to make sure it's all good. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the chain adjuster. These are pretty well gummed up. The nuts will thread on like one side. They have thread on the other side. I'm just going to show you how I clean them up. You can take a wire brush to them or put them on a machine if you want. I'm not going to get that in depth into it. I'm just going to take some cleaner, put it on there, run the nuts on and off a few times, and then wipe them off. And I do have some new nuts that I'm going to put on there, but I'm going to clean up the threads with the old nuts. That way, if there's something wrong with the threads, I don't mess up my new nuts. Basically, just going to take some degreaser, and what I want to do is I want to cover the threads of it pretty good. I'm not going to sop it, but I'm just going to soak it for a second or two. Yeah, I'm just going to clean off the axle while I'm at it. I'll re-grease that when I'm done. And basically we're just trying to get all the gum and goo and caked on grease out of here. Take my axle nut off here if I don't knock the camera over in the meantime. And again, it's threaded on there good, but if you can see in the picture there, it's just full of years of grease and goo. Just going to leave the nut at the end of it because I'm going to thread that back on there in a second. And again, I'm just letting that soak in a little bit, hit a little bit more. Then I'm going to just take one of the old nuts and basically just thread it down on there. And anywhere there's any goo in there, that nut should spin down like that one does. And the first time I did that, it didn't go down nearly that easy. It got stuck about 1/8 the way down. And I had to just keep working it for a little bit. This side I haven't done anything to it yet, so. And I can see there's goo in there still, but same thing. Right there, it's just tight, it doesn't want to go down. And I'm not taking my ratchet or anything, I don't want to force it down. I just want to kind of push it back and forth, and if it gets stuck, just work it back and forth like that, and the penetrating oil or the degreaser will actually get in those threads and clean it out for you. Again, you can stick these on a wire brush if you want to, if you have one, or a wire wheel. To me, I'm going to clean it anyhow, and there's not enough in there to actually take them off and wire brush them for me. So as you can see, that just running the bolt down a couple times or the nut down a couple times will take care of all that. So a little bit longer. Same with the end of my axle nut. I'm gonna hit it one more time. And again, I'm just gonna run this down a couple times, and as you can see how much easier it spins on and off. Get down to the end there, it gets a little gritty, but same thing, just keep working it back and forth. And once I get that on, set my collar off, slide my spacer out, collar adjuster, and again, I'm just going to take and rub the degreaser in there a little bit. I'm checking the axle for any type of wear marks. I'm feeling it for any grooves, if there's any grooves in here, any damage to it. I'd take care of that. I'd either replace the axle or make a decision whether it was worth keeping or not. I don't feel anything obviously damaged on there. Someone just take other little parts while I'm at it, since my hands are covered in the degreaser. Wipe them off. Anything I'm going to reuse. I'll clean the nuts off too, because the nuts actually aren't that bad. They were just dirty. So I got some new ones in case I needed to replace them. Inside that's pretty goopy, but alright. I'm just going to take a paper towel, wipe everything down, and then we'll start on the next section. My brake rod doesn't look too bad at all. It's pretty clean. This hasn't been, looks like it's been off recently. It's pretty cleaned up. Got a little waver to it. I don't know if you can see that. I don't think it's enough that I'm going to worry about it. I'm not going to try to replace it. I'm just going to clean it up. I might try to straighten it out a little bit, but I don't think that'll matter. So before I take my other glove off, I'm going to take the little bit of degreaser I've got here. Now your hub will rust up if you clean this completely out, and you don't, if it sits out, it can oxidize. But I'm going to scuff it up anyhow with some emery cloth anyhow. But I just want to get the thick stuff off there, so when I'm working on it, I'm not getting grease all over myself or gummy stuff. Alright, so there's my axle cleaned up, ready to go back in. The spacer's cleaned up, the chain adjusters are cleaned up, the threads are all clean, so the nuts go up and down real easy. Cleaned up the inside of the cups in the back, and we're ready to move on to the wheel now. Then back to my rear here, before I forget. And just want to start that up a little bit, and I'll dig into the gear. Just like doing the front tabs or the front locks on the rotor. Get it started. Then use something a little more less blunt to fold it on up. Again, these are like an aluminum, so they're really soft, so they should fold up pretty easy. You don't have to beat it to death. They sound bad on the camera, but and that way they're all folded up so the nuts don't back off. Again, I'm not trying to resurface the inside of the drum. I'm not trying to lathe it out or anything. So if you can see again, how shiny it is, you can see some swirl marks and stuff around it. Basically, I'm just trying to get as much of that out as I can, so I actually get some friction out of the brake. Again, this is just emery cloth. It's not going to dig in. All it's going to do is get some of the shine off of it and actually give it a little bit of surface to grip onto. You could probably take this to the bike shop and have them lathe it out. I don't know if they can lay the wheel anymore or not. I don't know. I haven't had to have a drum lathed in 20 years, but I'm sure somebody out there, some machine shop, could probably resurface the inside of this. But again, don't need a nice crosshatch. I just need to get the shine off so the new pads or the cleaned up pads will actually work on it. You can see it better. So I don't know if it shows up on the camera really good or not. I might have to get a light in there, but you can kind of see this dark discolored area. That's where it was before, and just a little bit of work I've done. You've got a nice cleaner pattern in here. And again, I'm not going to get all the grooves out. I'm not trying to get the grooves out. The drum brake's going to heat up and glaze over anyhow pretty quick if you're on it hard. You just need it for that occasional wheelie that gets out of control, or if you really need to stop fast, you want to have a good back brake. Most of the time, you're using your front brakes are downshifted anyhow. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish cleaning out the rest of the inside of this, and we'll get back to it. As you can see, it's not perfect, but now there's not that shiny glaze on the outside. Again, you could work this as long as you want to. You don't want to take sandpaper to it. You don't want to dig gouges in it. You just want to get the stuff off the outside edge of it. That's good enough for what I'm going to do with it. So I'm going to leave it like it is. So again, my rear brakes are done. I made sure I did the same thing with that. Same thing, I just took the emery cloth, knocked off the shiny glaze on it. So I've got a nice pad again. You can feel the texture to it. My springs look good. My lever works. I've got a little bit of grease on there, just enough to keep it from locking up. Everything should be good. So this is ready to drop back down in when I'm ready to put it back on the bike. And the brakes will lock up nice. So the only thing that leaves me is the inside of the wheel. Again, I've got the wheel cushions ordered the wrong ones. The ones I got had the center tabs on them. Again, the ones I ordered were for an H2, like a 72, which again is what the bike is. From doing some digging, this is either a KZ 900 wheel or a 74, 75 H2 wheel. I think they put it on a couple other bikes, but it's definitely not an H2 wheel. Could be an aftermarket. I'm sure it's probably an aftermarket or reproduction just by the numbers on the side of it. I haven't tried to pull up any of those numbers and track it down anywhere yet. Either way, the wheel's in really good shape. So as soon as I get the rubbers in, I'll do a video on that. We'll put the tire back on and then hopefully get it off the straps holding to the ceiling. Just want to thank everyone for watching the video. Please click on like and subscribe if you haven't already, and stay posted for more updates.